sugar.
The lens is filthy. Marks on the lens. Hold on. It's better. Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to make a start on making the guard for the fuel filler, which sits in the offside wheel well. I am going to make use of these mounting points. I don't need to make a really complicated plate that covers both of them. I can in fact use some conduit to do each one individually. I'm going back on the idea as using these two brackets as anchor points. I will in fact cut them off. Then I'll replace these clips for Jubilee clips, which will be slightly more flush to the pipe. Then I can put the protective conduit on top. I've cut a V in the top of each piece of conduit. This is to allow it to fit as flush as possible so it clears the wheel. I will leave the underside clear so it can drain of water and debris. Next I want to make the door stop. I have noticed some R5 Fiestas just run a strap around the roll cage and attach it to the door somewhere there, and that just stops the door from opening too far. This means when you're strapped into the car you can just reach down and then pull the strap in to close the door. I'm going to use a puppy training lead. It's a good size and it's got plenty of strength. I will need to modify the door card to get it mounted though. In order to do the passenger door card, I can just mirror the driver's side I've already done. I still need to span and check the entire car. I need to secure the exhaust sensor cable underneath, and I need to mod and fit the thermostat. I just traced the water lines back to the remote pump as I wanted to check the orientation of the pump for bleeding. However, I did notice when I put the pipes back on for the third or fourth time, I've actually switched them round. So I need to take them back off, put them the correct way round, and I can do the thermostat at the same time. On a positive note, when I get the intercooler pipe back from welding, it will make it a lot easier to install if I leave the headlight out. Judging by the length of this hose, I may have made the mistake from the beginning. I can't see how it's going to stretch around, but I'll get this one off and see how we go from there. Yeah, there's no way it's going to reach. It's a good job I noticed now, so I can get it sorted before I try to run the car. I have now shortened the pipe that goes to the water pump. I can now modify the thermostat before I install it. This involves drilling a couple of holes into the body of the thermostat. If I'm going to run the external water pump in line with the pump on the engine, I need to have some continuous flow. Also have the oil filter to fit. I will do a complete spanner check on the engine once I get the remaining parts installed. The intercooler pipe, the dump valve, the window washer bottle. I need to tidy up the wiring on this side. The starter motor also needs to be bolted on. Then I can get the front end and light back on. So for now, I will spanner check the underside. For the majority of the underside of the car, you only need 4 sockets. You need a 12, a 14, a 17 and a 19. So that's the underside done. Now that I've checked the majority of the underside of the car, I will just swoop back underneath just to check there's nothing else I've missed out. Once I've done that, I will use the original wheels that came on the car to test the ride height. Once I have it down on the ground, I can see what I need to do with the tracking. I'm just going to go around with the torque wrench to check the important parts, things like the engine mount. Next, I will check the position of the camber bolts. For those of you who are not aware of what camber bolts are, I'll show you this really rusty bolt. On the non-threaded part, it's actually lobed like a camshaft. As you spin the bolt, it either pushes the wheel out or in for positive or negative camber. What I normally do is mark the head of the bolt where TDC is on the cam. Then it is a lot easier to get reference when it is on the upright. This should give me a nice neutral position as a start for the setup. As far as setting the ride height, it's just going to be guesswork initially, as I won't be able to tell exactly where it's going to sit until it's on the ground. But I can make either side the same to start with. I am now checking that the track rods are loose enough to adjust. The driver's side is. The near side is good too. I'm going to get the starter motor on now so I can make sure the power that goes through the firewall is properly insulated and is correctly weather sealed. I now need to do a basic setup on the rear toe. What I believe to be the case is that is the marker for the neutral position. For any of you that do know, I'm sure you can let me know. So if I get the mark on the bolt to line up with that, I think that's the neutral position. So if I do that on both sides, and we can go from there. There is no camber adjustment on the rear. Next, I need to get some air in these tyres. Two down. Before I lower the car to the ground, I'm going to make a reference from the wheel arch to the centre of the wheel. This will tell me how much travel I have on the suspension. When it's lowered to the ground, I can just minus the difference. Now I just need to figure out how to lower it to the ground. All I have is a small trolley jack and a scissor jack. I just need to figure out the fronts now. I just want to say, do not try this at home. It's my practicing escape manoeuvre. Well, I was hoping to film any catastrophes, but unfortunately it wasn't recording. It wasn't anywhere near it, just rolled off the jack. And this axle stand is starting to put a hole in the floor. However, I should just be able to jack this part up, and then I can let it down. I'll say again, don't try this at home, please. You can see how far it's shifted over, which isn't such a bad thing. I can get around it a bit easier now. It's very hard to see on camera, especially being in this tent, but initially the ride height is looking really good. I've forgotten how low the Peugeot front end is, so that surprised me a bit. We still have good ground clearance, probably 175mm to the sump. And the ARB links are that far off the ground. Can't easily get around that. Again, the back is a good height, with reasonable clearance between the exhaust and the floor. Probably slightly less than the sump. As I said, I do expect the car to settle down slightly, so it will probably get slightly lower. Thanks for watching another episode. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Need to have a good tidy up in here.